Guy says we need to have a talk about not calling him back. I've known him for a week. 28F, 32M. I met this guy about a week ago. We hung out 3 times since then. He would say things like, he feels like he's known me forever on the first date. I thought, kinda corny but whatever. The second date he said he wants to take care of me and wants me to talk to him about anything I'm going through. I also thought that was too early on to say. Honestly, I didn't really feel like going out with him the third time because I felt a bit uneasy. But I have a history of turning down men who are very open and zealous about wanting me. It's a cycle I'm trying to break, so I said to myself, let's do it. He said he had to leave the next weekend. He was only gone for like 2 or 3 days. The second day he was gone, he called me and I didn't answer. I texted and said I would call back later. Honestly, I felt a bit anxious when he called for some reason. Plus, I get in moments where I just don't talk to anyone for a while. All my family and friends know this. I texted him, "Hi," the next day and he immediately responded, "Hi, I thought you said you would call back yesterday." I apologized. I called later, he didn't answer. He called me back sounding tired. At the end of the convo he said, "You said you would call me back yesterday but you didn't. But you know what, it's good. We can discuss it later." I said, "I'm sorry, but why is this a thing we have to discuss?" He said something, I can't remember because I got a little upset and mildly triggered. But he said again, "We will discuss it later." I said, I apologized. And I am sorry. I should have just told you I didn't want to talk that day. But why are we having a discussion about this if I met you like a week ago? He just said, okay, we won't discuss it, then changed the subject, but I was not interested in talking more at that point. I just hate being questioned by someone I barely know. Part of me is wondering if I could have said it better. Part of me is wondering if this is an early sign of possessiveness. IDK. I've had such bad luck dating. Plus, I've made very bad choices in dating people who really couldn't care about me or not serious about me in the past, so maybe I'm not used to people being concerned about dating me? I've gone 5 years without serious relationship, so my dating intelligence feels so low. Never ignore it when you get an uneasy feeling. He sounds like a weirdo, and I should know. There's no room for that much criticism when it comes to knowing each other for a week. Even if he had hoped for a call, he should have framed it that way, saying that he had hoped for your call, showing that he wanted to hear from you, but not framing it as a criticism. It's too early to say if this was just a faux pas, or if he has issues. If you're going to keep seeing him, don't ignore this kind of weirdness or a critical spirit. If you have a couple more dates and it doesn't come up again, let it go and chalk this up as him being uncomfortable dating. If this scenario repeats itself, then don't put up with it. He'll only be critical moving forward. I have a history of turning down men who are very open and zealous about wanting me. It's a cycle I'm trying to break, so I said to myself, let's do it. That is great that you recognize that about yourself. Good thing to work on. But I don't think this the one to go down that road with. Yes, you should call people back when you say you're going to. It's whatever. The thing about this one, he is coming off like he's already involved in your life. Invasive almost. If you're already having drama with a dude you met a week ago. Not the one. Save this. That is great that you recognize that about yourself. Good thing to work on. For something more promising. I agree with you here totally. Part of me is wondering if this is an early sign of possessiveness. It's creepy and patronizing for him to make a point that you will discuss it later, as if you were disobedient. It doesn't matter if you were a little flaky, his response is way over the top. Throw this one back and keep fishing, he doesn't seem like a keeper. Follow your gut, you don't owe him anything. No, it's really fucking weird. Feels like early stages of love bombing to me. I wouldn't keep seeing this guy. I, F20, am getting fed up with my boyfriend, M20. To give some context, my boyfriend and I have been dating for over a year now. Things have been good for the most part. Although lately I'm getting more and more frustrated with him. I'm realizing he's putting a lot less effort into planning dates for us. Well, to be honest, not planning any at all and leaving it all up to me. I've confronted him about this and his response was, "You know I'm not good at planning things." He is also spending more and more time on his phone, looking at his phone rather than looking at me when I'm talking to him. Whenever I confront him about any of these things, he usually tells me I'm being silly, it's not true, and gets frustrated with me if I don't stop talking about it to him almost immediately. I know I love him, but I'm starting to feel like he's more like my friend than my boyfriend. I can't remember the last time he took me on a date off his own back and used his money to pay for it. I don't expect the world, but I do expect to be taken out every so often, as whenever I have the money I always take him out. As time goes on, I'm getting more and more frustrated and feel as though I'm not being treated properly. I could be overthinking, so I wanted to hear some other opinions. What do you think? Edit. First off, thank you for the advice to those who actually gave advice. However, I've had a lot of comments that are heavily critical of my boyfriend or telling me to dump him. It baffles me to read these comments when I was simply asking for advice on my current situation, as I want to better my relationship. Please don't comment telling me to dump my boyfriend, as that isn't going to happen. He's not putting in effort, and when confronted, he's basically telling you, "This is who I am." Well, you obviously don't like who he is, so drop him. He's not willing to do anything. You should plan to dump home and block his number. If all of a sudden, he says, "Oh, I can plan now," well, why didn't he do that before? Woman shrugging. Medium dark skin tone. He just seems like a bad boyfriend who is distant. Why be in a relationship where you're unhappy? I get it, most of us dudes are oblivious to what's happening in our relationship, but this dude is just disinterested in all of it. You're 20. You guys are kids. Move on. None of this will last anyways. Think about the cost and worth of your relationship. Realize that this probably won't change. Don't fall into the sink cost fallacy. Have a serious talk with him. Some people are inherently selfish and don't value people's time and leave them unappreciated. I 38M have spent all the energy of their 20 trying to be the romantic in the relationship. It builds resentment. Try first. But don't stick around if you're the only putting in the effort. It will lead you to a dark place. Has anyone mentioned weaponized incompetence yet? My 30F boyfriend, 32M, wants to propose to me in same place he wanted to with his ex. When my boyfriend and I had just met, he told me he used to be in a 8-year relationship, and just before he and his ex broke up, he was planning on going to France to propose to her. Now we are dating and I've heard hints about we're going to France, and from some friends that's where he wants to propose to me. All my life I've wanted to visit France. It's been my dream, and for the man of my dreams to propose to me, there would be like a fairy tale. He's always loved France too. It's been his favorite country all his life. Ever since I can remember, I've always wanted to travel France with the man I love. That's why I haven't already been alone or with friends. I've been holding off just to travel with that special someone. He's already visited France with his ex because it was his dream too. It annoys me to think, okay, he's already got memories there, they won't be special ones with me, but I really can't get past the whole he already wanted to propose there and now he wants to do that with me. Yes, it's been his dream to propose to the love of his life there, but I'm just feeling like a spot filler because it almost happened with someone else. Like, I don't feel special. I feel like if we go there and it happens, that's all I'm gonna think about is the ex. I feel like my dream's ruined and it would be ruining his. Any advice please to feel better, or what can I do? Folded hands. Dear God, please stop worrying about the perfection of the proposal and then the wedding, and just focus on having a great marriage. You're thinking too hard about this. Let go of the past. Let go of perfection. Enjoy living in the present and dreaming about the future. He's marrying you. It's time to let go of jealousy and live in the relationship you're in. You can't be jealous of a person's memories. You're 30, you're bound to have some. People move on though. Life is not perfect. Please don't focus on the types of things that ruin making new moments. Your insecurities will ruin this for you both, and you're too grown up to be doing this. France is a large country. Is it in the same city? Same exact location? If you're going to that same city and exact location, be honest, and even make it a joke. Wouldn't it be awful to get engaged in the same exactly location you were going to with your ex? You can't be serious about this? He loves the country, he loves you. But apparently you are too insecure. Work on yourself a bit. Wife says I'm not allowed to be affected by death. M33F38. Been together 4 years. Wife lost her godmother. After a while she told me that she was feeling real sad by her passing. And she went through the grieving stages as. One day she was very upset about my attitude and she asked why. I told her that I was feeling the loss of her godmother as well. She promptly got more upset and told me that I only met her twice. How can I be affected? And from me saying that, she says she can't mourn her godmother because I told her that. And now says she will never forgive me. I never meant it as I am going exactly with what she is going through. But her godmother made an impact on me and my family the few times I did meet her. Even made plans with my mother to hang out as an extended family, my wife's family. Avoids my family for some reason, so that was something I appreciated. Not even my wife has ever tried to do that. My point, or I guess question, is, am I allowed to grieve? I have told her that I never meant that I was grieving more, but that I was impacted by the death as well. You absolutely can be grieving, but you shouldn't be expecting to be leaning on your wife at all during this time. You should be a source of support only to her, and then be leaning on other friends or family members for support for you. This is because she is much closer to the deceased and is much closer to the center of grief. Google ring theory of support for more information on this. Perhaps she doesn't feel it's sincere? Or are you making the situation more about your grief than hers? Does she have to comfort you and receive no support? I'm not sure. You are going to have to try to sit down with her and get to the depth of the situation. What do you mean by your attitude? Death can rock any of us, and sometimes the loss of people we didn't know very well can shake us to our core. So I don't think you are in the wrong at all to feel untethered by this loss and unable to articulate why it is hitting you so hard, even though you only met her a handful of times. It's not uncommon to grieve the loss of possibility. But the attitude comment stands out to me. Was your wife upset that you generally seemed down, less supportive than she would have liked, and you were articulating the why behind that? Or were you mid-fight about a legitimate issue she had and you then blamed it on your grief? You are allowed to grieve. And #X200B. I suspect it is not about you. Many people are angry when a loved one die. They cannot express anger at the deceased obvious, because 1, they are not there anymore, and 2, it is really culpabilizing since it is paradoxical to their pain. The usual resolution is to be angry on another, so, "It is how my first relationship died. She has been so mean and angry that she decided to separate. I approved and had a better life. When she got her ducks back in line, it was too late, I had moved on." So she may forgive you one day. But it is irrelevant since the fault is not on your side, and by then you will probably have another wife. That seems like a very strange and immature reaction, especially coming from a 38-year-old woman.